Welcome to the Savvy Leader Podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here to challenge how you think, lead, and show up. Because this isn't about surface level success. This is about clarity, alignment, and making decisions that actually move your life forward. If you're ready to stop performing and start leading with real intention, then you are in the right place, my friends. All right, everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Savvy Leader Podcast. Today, I am joined by a good friend. Her name is Lauren Dittle, and she is a mental health coach who specializes in divorce. And she has an incredible story to tell of her own experience, the journey, and building her business that's just been so beautiful to watch. And she's got some exciting things coming up. And I can't wait to hear more about it. But first, Lauren, could you please share with our audience a little about you, how you started on this journey, and what brought you to the place you're at and helping these people go through such difficult times in their life?
Yeah, hi Kristen. Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. We always have really good chats. So I'm happy this one is recorded because I feel like they probably should all be, but yeah, so I actually started down this route of coaching women actually right after my own divorce. So I went through my own divorce and it was, as you know, and many other women know, I mean, it's not a fun time in your life, right? In society, we hear so many people go through divorce. It's so common. It's not even a second thought really these days, which is, I mean, I've got opinions about that too, but that's not the point. The point is that we write it off as something that it's so common, so it's just not a big deal. But until you're going through it, you know that that's not the case. And so I was going through my own divorce and it was awful. And honestly, I had my own coach at the time. She was more like a business coach and everything, but she helped me with a lot of life stuff too. And she said, "You went through this with flying colors. You need to help other women do the same thing." And I thought, I don't think I went through that with flying colors, but okay. And I did. I had the tools. I knew how to, keep myself calm. I knew how to get regulated. I knew how to have these hard conversations. I knew how to stick to my guns and do those things I needed to do for myself. So I understood what she was saying. So I did. I actually shortly after I started helping other women through the process too, and just like dealing with the heaviness that comes with that. So that's kind of how I began my coaching, to be honest, is after my own hard times with divorce. And I just thought, you know what? Nobody should go through this alone if they don't want to. Like there needs to be more women out there supporting other women. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until, I got deep into Instagram did I even know that there was other ladies doing this. I didn't even know a divorce coach was a thing. And so yeah, but that's kind of how I fell into it. It was just like coming from a place of like I didn't want to be alone during that time. I don't think other women should be either. So,
I think that's so true. Going through a divorce is such a trying time, and no two situations are ever going to be the same. And it's never anything. I mean, people don't get married to get divorced, right? I mean,
yeah,
we all step into these relationships with the best of intentions and plans, and but life happens, and sometimes you have to make a difficult decision, and sometimes it's a really, really difficult decision
right,
because of the circumstances that surround each and every one can create such hard feelings, I think, and added stress and anxiety and when things aren't amicable, um, I just, I feel for the women and the men too. I mean, it's hard on the
right.
kids, of course. It's hard on everybody to see a
It is.
family have to break apart that way and then do it in a hard way like that. Can you
Mhm.
share a little bit about, I find it interesting too that you sought this after seeing some things on Instagram. Um, I find that really fascinating that, so we all have this like love-hate relationship with social media.
Mhm.
There's
Yes,
like, it's a necessity, but we hate being on there, but we want to be on there, but we don't. I mean, it's just, I'm waiting for this social media evolution to take place where everybody gets together and comes up with a better plan. But
I agree.
I hope it's happened sometime soon. Someone smarter than me can figure that out.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm curious about The struggles that you see, I mean, you primarily work with women, right?
Correct. Yes, yes.
Okay.
And yeah, first when I started talking about all this, I definitely did have some men reach out and say, "Oh man, this is tough." And we've had some great conversations. I'd never, but yes, I've always just really worked with women. I've had a couple men in some of my like workshops, but mostly women. And now I basically do, strictly women, but I'm happy to have a conversation with a man and try to help point him in the right direction because like you said, obviously it's hard on everybody. So
Mhm.
I'm not disqualifying them that they don't struggle too.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's terrific. It's anybody, any bit of help can always, help be provide to the bigger picture, I think. But what kind of patterns do you pick up on right away from different people? I'm sure after
Mhm.
all the people that you've worked with, you see probably some similarities or people heading down certain paths, maybe because
Mhm.
of certain behaviors that pop up or patterns. Have you seen some of that kind of dictating how you approach each different client situation?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely patterns. And usually they come to me first saying things like, I don't even know who I am anymore, right? Because their whole world has shifted and their role of being mom or wife or caretaker or whatever it is, right? We put everyone, and this is a generalized statement, I understand, but we tend to put everyone else first and try to make these households run smoothly and make everybody happy all the time, right? It's that people pleaser mentality, but also, I mean, we want that. We want peace in our home. We want harmony in our home. So once that's taken away, what's left, right? And so if you have this woman that, and this is very common, that has been working on everybody else and kind of abandoning her own needs or sacrificing herself for this family for the greater good, what's left, And so everything is, yeah, everything is just turned to kind of rubble around her. And she's like, how do I even pick myself back up off the floor? I don't know what to do first. I don't recognize myself in the mirror. Um, they say things like, I'm so tired of just surviving, and especially after divorce, because you do feel like that for a while. Not always, right? And a lot of what I'm talking about too, like I said, this is some generalized, but these are the things that I see women coming to me with. Um, I also didn't want to subscribe to the story of myself when I went through this of like a suffering divorcee or a suffering single mom. I just didn't want to be that person because I know we have a choice, right? And so I immediately kept working with my coach and just getting that like, okay, how do I get out of these patterns? How do I get out of these thought loops that keep me stuck in these cycles, right? And I don't want to play victim, so how do I not do that? But back to the women that I'm talking to too. They, I mean, that a lot of them, they do want more. They want more for their lives. They don't want to feel like this. They want peace. They want more confidence. A lot of that has been rocked, especially if there's any form of betrayal in the marriage, right? They're like, how do I trust myself? Because I clearly made the wrong decision back then. Or I kept making the wrong decision, right? I stayed with that person and I knew I shouldn't. So how do I trust myself now? And so that's a lot of the stuff that we work on together because I know that that self-trust really gets shattered and
Oh
it's
my
it's
gosh, that must just be a really big process. That space, depending on the person and the situation, and um, helping them find themselves again, and then also take care of themselves because I'm sure the last thing on their mind is like, how do I take care of me right now? Because all they can think about, I'm sure, is if they have kids, there's that, or
yeah.
all the other stresses that come along with breaking that relationship apart like that. And oh my
Hmm.
gosh, just thinking about it, I can feel the weight of it. Lauren, how do
Yeah.
you manage all of that with people, especially someone who's been going through her own struggles? You're so
Right.
strong, the strength in your voice. And I love that you made the declaration that you're not going to be that person. You wanted to
Yeah.
be stronger and do better. And good for you. But how do you help? How do you help then people? I mean, that's
Yeah.
so big.
It is. Thank you. And and there's definitely times that I don't feel strong, right? And so I do believe, I'm a strong believer in God, and I do believe that he puts us through challenges. Maybe he didn't create this challenge for us, but I believe we go through hard times to show us that we're not reliant. Like it's not just us here. Like we need something greater. We need something bigger to rely on because we can't do this alone. Like we just can't. And there has been so many times in the past, I don't know, I mean 10 years, but my life, I'll say that I've just thrown my hands up and been like, I can't do this alone, God. So that's my number one. He is my foundation. And then also just reminding women that you didn't come here to feel like this. This isn't the point of life. This is just a challenge. It's just a season, right? And it's just showing you things. It's like a message. What do you need to learn in this season? What did you do before that wasn't working? What are the lessons that we can, extract out of there? And then now who do you want to be going forward? Right? Because a lot of that was good stuff and we can use it going forward, but some of it we just need to let go and realize like, okay, we get to choose, right? We get to choose what we want to feel like, what kind of life we want to lead, and we don't get to control it all at all. We can try, but that usually doesn't work out. But we do get to choose how we feel.
Yes, we do get to choose. Sometimes the choices are harder than others, though.
Yeah.
Um, when I think about that in-between stage and the self-care,
Hmm.
I was curious about, can you walk us through the process a little bit? Like when you meet a client, where do you begin? And then, I mean, certainly there's no way for you to be able to give a timeline or a number of sessions or anything like that because it's all going to
Right.
be just dynamic. But walk
Right.
us through a little bit about what it's like to meet with you and then work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. There is no timeline, right? And a lot of us like will healing isn't we've seen the little graphs, right? And the little memes and stuff. Healing isn't linear. It's not just a perfect stepping stone up. It's loops and it's twists and it's turns and it's everything. And it's all part of the process. So I literally have clients who have come to me and literally in 6 weeks, she has said, "You've helped me more in 6 weeks than 20 years of therapy." And I'm not knocking therapy. I have a therapist. I'm not knocking that at all. But I'd say coaching and my coaching is different because we're not just circling the same loops of the past and the childhood. Yes, we're looking at that and we're looking at the trauma and everything and we're processing that, but we're also moving forward and like attacking like what's real for you now and how do we turn that into something that you actually want, like a life that you actually desire and a way you want to be, right? Instead of stressed out and worried all the time. So, okay, back to your question. Yeah, I just help women rebuild themselves after a hard season knocks them down. And I must say that I know we're talking about divorce, but I have worked with women and I do love working with women that not only deal with divorce. So I've definitely worked with women that have never been married or that are getting into their third relationship and now engaged. You know what I mean? It's not just necessarily divorce, but it's like these hard life seasons to develop more resilience, more confidence, more peace in their life. And we work through with these tools that help them with that going forward. So they know how to do this stuff on their own by the time we're done working together. So they can carry it through.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you find for different women, they get on track and they're doing better? Um, is it because it's an ongoing relationship with the
Mhm.
ex-partner, right? So,
Yeah.
um, you know, there's are there times when you hear from them again, like a year
Yeah.
later or something? How does that
Yes.
all work?
Yes, definitely. Yes, exactly. You're right. Because these triggers come up. But also, I do teach my clients that these are just triggers, right? Like this is literally just showing you something. And if it's pinging your emotion where it's making you feel like that heightened sense of emotion, that's just showing you something. And so, a lot of times when I work with clients, we work through those triggers. And so to be honest, they don't contact me a lot afterwards because they know how to work through it on their own now, right? So it doesn't bother them as badly.
Right. That's so great.
Yeah,
I
it's so
love
cool.
that.
It's very cool.
I
And I do
must be, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was gonna say I do have a client who followed up with me shortly after, our time together was done, and she said,
Hmm.
it was the same trigger, but she felt differently about it in the past, and she handled it differently. But also, she was like, "Why is this still bothering me?" And then, but she was able to
Mm,
figure it out. Do you know what I mean? She was able to be like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is why, and this is what I need to do." And I was like, "Exactly." So that's my goal is to like I don't
Okay.
want patience for 20 years, right? Like I'm sorry, I
Hmm.
don't. I want to work with you. I want you to help you
Hmm.
get stronger and grow, and then I want to set you free. It's like
Little birdie.
yes. Yes, like I
Yeah.
love my clients so much, and I like we have these great relationships, and if it takes,
Hmm.
a few packages together, fine, but my goal
Hmm.
isn't to keep you hooked on needing me. It's my goal
Hmm.
is to build that trust within themselves so they feel like confident going forward in their own life. So they don't need my
Hmm.
voice in their ear. They know what to do, you know?
Yeah. So, so important and wonderful. I mean, I love that that's the way you want to help people, that you don't expect them to keep coming back because you want them to be able to learn the tools to take care of themselves because those are actually like life tools. Those are
Yes.
things that they can use in a lot of different ways in their life moving forward. So just experiencing what you have to offer for a time to get them through this hard time and then, like you said, just kind of set them free to
Yeah.
do life. But of course, you're there if someone were to need you. Um,
Yeah.
and I know that you've created something new,
Mhm.
made for more mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what inspired you to go down that path and where all that came about.
Okay, yes. Oh man, this is something I am so excited about because it's pretty new. So I just feel like it's in the baby stages. And I love this. It's a community is what it is. And I am just feeling like the world right now is lacking that community or everyone's craving it, right? They just want a place where they're like, this feels like home. These people understand me. These people have my back. And I'm craving that myself, right? Like I've got my great friends, but they're all over and scattered. And I just feel like when women are going through similar things or similar, have similar goals in life, like that is so powerful to come together and be like, okay, these people, like this is a safe place for me to talk about, what's coming up or that I want to celebrate without other people getting jealous and knocking me down, right? So Made for More Mama is a community because I know that there's women out there like me who know that there's more to life than this. They're like, I am made for more than this life that I'm currently living. I want more peace. I want more joy. I want more friendships. I want more support, you know? And so it is a community inside a Substack. So it's a platform. I know you're on Substack, and I am totally loving it because it's very different from like the Instagram or the TikTok or Facebook dopamine hits with the scrolling. And personally, myself, I have been over that for like I was telling you before, like probably a couple years. I feel myself when I'm on those apps get stressed. Even if I'm watching a video about something that can help me or whatever, it's just too much. It's too loud, it's too noisy. And so I've been craving a space that feels quieter and that feels like real connection instead of comparison and who can shout at you the loudest. And so I got onto Substack and I've been totally loving it. So I have a free space on there. And then Made for More Mama is a very low cost women's community. And so I'll do private writings on there once a month. And then we also do live calls. And so every month we'll have a live call and we'll talk about different themes. So I'm excited. So this Saturday we're going to talk about, and they're all recorded too. So if you see this after the fact, you can always get the recording. But this month on Saturday, May 16th, we're talking about more good. So, how to look for the good in our life and how to cultivate more good. Because so often we're like focused on okay, what fire needs to be put out, right? Like I'm just moving from one thing to the next. Like life is crazy, life is chaotic. There's so much, I'm overwhelmed, but it's like, okay, let's stop and let's see what's actually working out for you. And let's figure out how to, because that attracts more of, right, the gratitude and more of the good things into your life. So we're just going to get that ball rolling with that on Saturday morning, have some coffee. So,
Wonderful. I think that's so beautiful.
yeah.
And I love Substack too. It does have a different feel to it. It's a little bit more intentional, which is totally, the place I like to be.
Yes.
Share with us a little bit about what it looks like to be in your community. So, do you like give tips and tricks, or do you give inspirational things? Or, I mean, talk a little bit about what that looks like to just kind of be in your world.
Yeah, I mean, I do give tips and tricks for sure, but I also am just completely honest. I am like I share a lot of like just raw, real moments with me and how I walk through them, right? So it's kind of like the behind the scenes of like, okay, how does one actually do this in life, right? And it's funny because yes, I listen to some of your podcasts and I listen to like so many, right? And these people have like this story of I did corporate for so long and then I did this and it's like this wonderful before and after picture and I feel like, you know what? My life isn't really like that. It's not so neat and tidy. And also, I am on the same level as everybody else. You know what I mean? I do not like I know there's so many coaches and so many like people out there that they seem to sit on this mountaintop and preach down to us and it's like I don't resonate with that myself. And so I'm like right there with the women and telling them about stuff that's real and coming up for me and like how do we process this together? How do I do this as a mom in court, with two small kids dealing with all this stress? So that's what it's like to be in the community, I guess. It's like you kind of get a little behind the scenes, but then I also really find it's important to hear everyone else's voice. Like I like to have like a little mini retreat style where we're all chatting and sharing what's real and what's coming up for us. So, yeah.
That sounds wonderful. And I think, again, with the strength, Lauren, there you are, quietly being the strong one in the room and so brave to show the vulnerable pieces and parts of your life that so many people want to hide from the world. What brought you to the point of finding that comfort level? Or were you always just that person who had no problem just showing this is who I am, take it or leave it? Um, or was there something that happened that helped you step into the light in that way?
That's such a great question. And oh, to be honest, I feel like it's both. I do feel like it's both. I feel like I've always been this way. Like I have no choice but to be real. I just don't. There is not an ounce of anything in me that feels good pretending, you know? I just can't. I just never have been able to, and I just don't want to. Um, so I feel like it's always been there. And maybe honestly, I think that has also brought me some pain in my life, right? Just being honest and vulnerable and sharing my heart for people who take advantage of that and mistake that for weakness, right? Um, and so, yes, I would say I've also had to get over a lot of my fears and my own insecurities and my own limiting beliefs around sharing my story and around sharing, what works for me and just in around sharing yeah, just being vulnerable and stuff online, especially too. So I've definitely I think it's both. Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously I follow you on social and I've seen some of your kind of vulnerable and you'll just kind of talk about it and you just share it and it's just Lauren sitting there at the kitchen table talking about an event that happened in your life and how you move forward and but you do it in a way that you're trying to be encouraging to others. You're not out there like just, sitting on your soapbox. You're out there
Right.
showing the world that These are the things that have happened with me. And this is how I'm handling it. And this is how I'm moving forward through it, in an encouraging way so that people can see that and see that it's possible
Mhm.
to get picked up out of the ashes, so to speak, and start again. I think it's wonderful. Good for you.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
yeah. Um, what are some, share with us maybe one simple thing that a woman could do to help take the first step when if she's sitting in that puddle and she can't
Mhm.
figure out which way she needs to go. What's one thing she can do to help get herself up off the floor and, certainly to seek out a person like you, but just to start moving forward for herself.
Mm. Yeah, that's a great question too, because we've all been there, right? When the floor is taken from under our feet and we're like, what now? Ultimate survival, right? And the first and the easiest thing I would say to do is to breathe, just to breathe. Because a lot of times we're so busy and we are so fearful, we're literally holding our breaths, you know? And so you can feel the complete difference in your body when you stop and you drop your shoulders and you take a few deep breaths, you know? Like, I cannot remember the statistic and I wish I could, but it's basically just a fraction of a percent of how much we actually spend like taking deep breaths and filling our lungs up through the day. Like, we don't do it, you know? So I think that's one of the first things is to breathe, just to stop and breathe. And the next thing that goes along with that is silence. It's listening to the stuff you're trying to avoid in your head. And that's so often very, very hard and very, very scary.
Yeah.
But you need to hear yourself, and you need to open that space where God or, angels or the universe or whatever you believe in can speak to you and give you those divine messages. Because so often we're so busy and we're trying to either keep up the appearance or just keep up the household or right, keep it all together because we don't need to walk into this meeting like a pile of like a mess, right? So we're trying to hold it all together, but we're not listening to ourselves. We're not listening to these messages of what we really need. So I think those would be my two first things is to like just breathe and just and have a little bit of silence. Each day is ideal. If you could do that.
Yeah. Two great, really wonderful pieces of advice there. I think we forget. And funny enough, when you mentioned that, it reminded me of, oddly, a visit to my chiropractor where I was under some stress and she's like, "Are you breathing?" And I'm like,
Totally.
"Well, I'm alive, but am I really breathing? Like, I mean, I'm here, so breathing,
Yeah.
because we live is one thing, but to
Yes.
think about the breath, the in and the out, and to allow yourself to just be for a moment.
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
And that's so easy to forget. I do yoga every week, and my teacher, every time we're in a harder pose, she's like, "What are you doing right now? Are you breathing?" No, every time. Okay. We need those reminders. It sounds simple, but we need these reminders.
yeah, we do. Tell me a little bit about where you came up with the name Made for More Mama.
Oh, I don't know. It just struck me, when you get these ideas and yeah, you just think, okay, I think that's a God thing. And then sure enough, there was a song that came on after I thought of that. I was made for more. And so that was, I think it was divine. I do. But
Mm,
I don't know. I'm always craving that, like more. I know there's more. And I know that this life isn't it. I know we're not gonna like get it all here, but I feel like, okay, we can always do a little better, can't we? Like we can always improve something a little more, or we can try to, right? And so I guess that's where it came from. And I have a soft spot in my place in my heart for moms, of course, because I'm a mom and I know how hard it is.
oh my gosh, it is so hard, especially in this day and age. I love that you brought up your faith. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that foundational piece for you and just what that means to you and how that's kind of weaved in and out of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've always really had a faith. I've always felt, God's presence. We didn't grow up ultra religious or anything like that, but I've just always known, and my mom has really instilled that in me. And it's just very cool to see, where she's at with all of that as a, 72-year-old woman, and just trusting this whole process and trusting that there's a greater plan. But I've had moments in my life where I, was doubtful, and I was angry, and I just really was thinking I could do more of it on my own and everything, and that just never worked out for me, to be honest. And yeah, through these hardships the past few I don't know. I say few years, but it's been more than that. I just feel like every time I hand it over to God, every time I literally declare, like, all right, this is in your hands. I'm amazed. I just like I cry with tears of gratitude how he shifts things so quickly and in ways I couldn't expect, right? It's like his way is always better. There's always something bigger than we can even think of in our own little human brains, right? It's just, yeah, I'd say it makes a big difference in hard times to get you through this stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. And oftentimes, when we do think we can control it all and then God allows us to, we quickly find out that no,
Exactly.
that's not the way to go. That's just
Exactly.
not going to work out for you. So, I
Hmm.
think that faith is so important, and I love that you're so willingly share it and you talk about it because I think that too is a really big encouragement for people because thinking about trying to control everything, especially if you're going through a divorce like that,
Yeah.
is just far too overwhelming. And so
Yeah.
knowing and trusting that you don't have to control it all. And there's we have a God that will do all of that for you if you allow him to, not allow, but if you let go, you let
Exactly.
go.
Exactly. And you hit another nail on the head too that's a lot of my clients. They're like they're exhausted from trying to control this, right? And I think it's a lot of women in society this day and age too, right? We think we can do it all. We try to be superwoman. We try to have it all together, but we cannot. And often something big will wipe you out or take you out at the knees because it's just showing you shouldn't try to control it at all. And under control is fear. And so if I have a client or somebody I'm working with that is likes to control things or is trying so hard, right? I had one woman who she knew she wanted a divorce. She's known this for 10 plus years probably, but she was so afraid of how it's going to affect her kids. Understandable, 1,000% understandable. I get it. Um, However, so she's trying to control their feelings and control this outcome of something that she knows has to happen, right? My job is not to convince her to, yes, get a divorce right now. My job was to help her release control, just like exactly what you're talking about. And underneath that control is always fear. That's always why we're gripping onto something because we're afraid of a certain outcome. We're afraid of somebody getting hurt. We're afraid of something going not the way that we want it to, right? And then when we're like, okay, I can face this. I can handle whatever outcome's going to come because I know God's got it. It completely changes everything.
What a great story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Have there been some other influences or anything in your world that's inspired you to continue down this path?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, oh man, I don't know. I'd say like just other women out there like yourself, and just wonderful, strong women just that show others what it means to like lend a hand. And I want to be someone like that. I love it. And I have coaches and I've got women in my circle that are like just so giving, and you never know when someone needs that. And I don't know. I just think it's such a ripple effect and just spreading the love and the support. And I think this part of just being human is trying to do your best and to help other people. So,
Aw, I think that's so great, and thank you.
Yeah.
Um, it's just a wonderful story that you're so willingly out there sharing and encouraging and helping people have hope and move forward and through it and figure it out from your own lived experience. So tell us, Lauren, how can people join your communities? Where can they find you? How can they get in your world?
Yes, definitely. Well, I've got a website, laurendittle.com. And then I also have, I'm on Instagram, and I'd say right now I'm hanging out on Substack the most. So it's probably, I can't even tell you, but it's probably substack.com/Lauren Dittle. Otherwise, if you head to one of my social media places, you'll find me there too. But yeah, I'm really loving the Substack community there. So I'm hanging out there quite a bit and in my Made for More Mama group. And I
Awesome.
also do the one-on-one coaching too. So for women who are feeling called to go deeper with their personal stuff and have a
Hmm.
real like solid transformation and have somebody walk them through that. I have
Hmm.
6-month coaching packages. So I've got a couple spots open for that right now. But
Awesome. I
mm,
love it.
yeah.
And I love that Substack. I love that group that you've created. I think it's just an incredible community, and I'm sure that it will turn into something really nourishing for the women that choose to step in and be a part of that, in their time of need, and then stick around to help and encourage other people. I think it's beautiful. Do you
Yeah.
have any events or workshops coming up? I know you've done some retreats and things in the past. Are you got anything on the docket?
I don't have anything in person yet, but I
Okay.
would love to. Yes, I love doing the retreats and the in-person stuff so much. And honestly, that's kind of want the vision I see this Made for More Mama going to, right? It's like virtual meetups, but I would love to have some in real life stuff happen from that too. But yeah, for now we just have the monthly meetups on Made for More Mama. So like I said, the May one is Looking for More Good. And that is coming up on Saturday, May 16th. And so then we'll have another one. I like to switch up the dates and the times too, so because
Okay.
all of us with crazy schedules. So it'll be a different one in June. But yeah, so keep an eye out for those.
Awesome. We definitely will. Thank you so much. I'll make sure I have all the links to find you in the show notes below so people can locate all of that afterwards. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being you and doing all the things that you do to encourage and help and sharing your story so candidly. I'm just truly grateful to have you and be able to call you friend. I'm really thankful.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. Same to you. And I can't thank you enough for your support and
Yeah.
just, yeah, just showing up like you do and always wanting to help and connect people. Like it really is inspiring. So thank you so much.
Good. I'm so glad. Thanks for listening to the Savvy Leader Podcast. If something in this conversation made you think differently, that's the point. Share this episode with someone who needs it and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. For more conversations on clarity, alignment, and real leadership, connect with me through the SavvyLivingNetwork.com and join the conversation at the Savvy Leaders Lounge on Substack. Until next time, lead with intention.